Okay, so good morning, everyone. I don't want to bore you too much, but when we were thinking about do's and don'ts, it is amazing how people forget some of the basic concepts of applying to IMI or to IMI projects or in response to IMI calls. The take-home message is read all the documentation provided, understand the rules for submission, and you will have, if the science is good and your consortium is good, then you will have hopefully a successful application. Just to remind you where I want to start is just on the evaluation process itself, because if you understand how your EOI will be evaluated, then you stand a better chance of having a successful application. So our expressions of interest are reviewed and ranked by a panel of at least 5 independent experts. These are experts identified by the Executive Office. They are experts in the area in which the call topic is, and we vet them to make sure there's no conflicts of interest, because we want to be as fair and transparent to everybody as possible. Whenever we invite the experts, they will receive your submitted expressions of interest, and then they will be asked to evaluate your submitted expression of interest for several criteria. So, scientific and technological excellence, the excellence of your consortium, the partnership, what you're proposing in terms of a work plan, and where appropriate, are there any ethical issues that the consortium need to address. When you look at the scientific and technological excellence, these are the bullet points that they are asked to take into consideration. I won't go through all of them because this information is available on the website. So you can see the actual form that the experts will use to evaluate your submitted expression of interest. But they are reviewing the scientific excellence of the proposal. Do you meet all of the objectives? This is a key point that sometimes is forgotten. The key objectives are laid out within the call topic. Your consortium and your proposal needs to address all of these objectives. It can't be part, 25%, 50%. It has to be everything that is laid out by FPA. Is there innovation within your approach? Are you actually going to move the field beyond the state of the art? What is the impact that is likely to be achieved with your submission? And as well, have you thought about the risks? We want you to be ambitious and to have innovation, but whenever you are ambitious and you have innovation, you also bring along some risks. So have you considered those as well? Very importantly, another area that is evaluated is the excellence of the partnership. So, what is the individual expertise of the applicants? Can the applicants actually provide the contributions that are expected and required in the call text? And what are the complementarities and the balance of your applicant consortium? What we sometimes see is that applicant consortia have really good world-leading scientists, but they all work in one area. They don't have the breadth or the experience to be able to cover all of the objectives, and that's actually detrimental to the proposal. So sometimes what you have to look for is a well-balanced consortium. And then another area that is evaluated is the work plan outline. Is it good quality? Is it sound? Is your budget reasonable? Doesn't have to be perfect, but at least it has to be within the scope of delivering what is required, and also the timelines. And where appropriate, are there ethical issues? And have these been addressed and highlighted by the applicants? So, I'm sorry for the next couple of slides because people might think that I'm patronizing or I'm not treating you with a lot of respect when you read some of these things, but these happen and we have seen these. So the submission deadline is missed. We get asked on a regular basis, can you accept a late submission? We can't. The deadline is there, it's published, it has to be respected. Sometimes in the past we've seen parts of the expression of interest have not been uploaded because people haven't finalised their application. We hope this will not be a problem anymore because we've upgraded our system, which should not allow you to finalise your submission if there's a part missing. It's not so much an issue at the expression of interest stage, but later on, some of the applicants are not eligible for funding, and the consortia are not aware of this, or the legal status is not clear. This will be resolved during the course if the application is successful. But the problem is that if you're not actually aware of the legal status of some of your of your fellow applicants, and they are doing really important parts of your project, then they suddenly find out at a later stage they're not going to get funding. And that can cause lots of management problems and issues for your consortium going forward. So please check that as well. Consortium eligibility criteria are not met, so it's clearly laid out within our rules who can apply, what is the minimum standard required, but we still receive applications from a single entity, and a single entity is not a consortium. Applicant consortia sometimes don't have the capabilities to address all of the objectives, which is a reflection on a point I made before on the individual participants. We have a form, we have an application procedure, and yet sometimes we do actually receive proposals on a PowerPoint slide. Now, we do our best to try and accommodate and be as flexible as possible, but if we are handing these complicated and sometimes very ambitious documents to our reviewers, it's a bit hard to explain, and we can't give them a PowerPoint presentation as well. There's an application procedure, and it's there for a reason. We also have examples where we love conciseness, we love brevity, we love people getting to the point, but some of the applications are so brief you don't actually know what they mean. So it's provide enough detail to allow the evaluators to do their evaluation. Critically, we receive some excellent expressions of interest, but sometimes there's a problem with them because either they do not address all of the objectives as laid out in the call document. So again, make sure your application addresses everything that's asked for in the call text, or the expression of interest is out of scope. Some of them are not even, they're wonderful projects, but they're not even related to what the call is about. And if you have any doubts, please contact IMI. On some occasions, ethical issues are not addressed. And this is a big issue because if you have serious ethical concerns within a project, we're asking the applicants to address them. But if they don't, then that doesn't reflect very well on the seriousness of the applicants with regards to that issue. So, I've talked about common mistakes. Now I'm going to talk about some common sense. This seems obvious when you go through it, but we've seen these mistakes happen on a regular basis. Please read all of the call relevant material that is provided on the IMI website. It's there for a reason. The rules of submission, the evaluation criteria, the call topic text, the objectives, the deliverables, what is expected from the applicant consortium, and how it will complement the FPA consortium. Please understand IMI's rules by reading the documents and then respect them. If in doubt, please contact the Executive Office. That is what we are here for. We are here to make your application successful. We want our projects to be as successful and to generate as much benefit as we possibly can. So we want the best projects to win, and we want to make your projects as good as they can be. Bottom line is, you should provide the reviewers with all the information they need to evaluate your proposal. And it sounds trivial, but please remember to finalise your submission. It's a little button, and you have to press it on the application procedure in order for us to get your submission. And then one final point that goes beyond the expression of interest stage is that If you are invited to a hearing and you have been, during the evaluation process, we now have hearings, when you are asked questions, please answer them concisely and give detail, because the evaluators have found a point or found an issue that they don't quite understand. So again, give the evaluators the information that they need to do their job and their business. So I'm sorry if that was like stating the obvious to all of you, but we're always surprised every year on some of the applications we receive and the state we find. So.